Hi guys, we're back. It's Louis from the UK. Hope you're all well. I'm going to do the Child Bride chapter a little bit later. That'll be for the live after this one. Got myself 2 cups of tea. Let me just grab my phone actually. Need the phone. That's where I get all the info. So I'm going to respond to a lot of your comments. There's comments to do with my video I posted this morning about who should get the credit for turning Graceland into a living museum, and also whose idea it was, if it was Vernon or Priscilla's, or was it the bank's, and there's other people that it could have been. Does Priscilla deserve the credit that she professes to deserve? So I've seen in interviews that she's very proud of the fact that Graceland was a big success and that it was her decision to not sell Graceland, and she disagreed with all the people that was pushing for it to be sold because of the financial difficulties once Vernon Presley passed. I'm not saying that she takes all credit for it, because when she sits in interviews, and the one with Jack Sodden clearly shows this, she does praise the team that she used to help launch it as a museum, and we do get the impression that it was her idea, but if you read between the lines, my guess is that it was many people's idea, and Vernon was a big one. And I've also been getting messages to do with my Colonel Tom Parker video, and that led me. Let me just see. Let's just see if I got the person's name. One of my subscribers sent me a name to look up. I'm just trying. I need to remember who the subscriber was. Let me just see if I can find it. But I did get some links so I could read them off. Let's just think. Yes, here we go. Blanchard E. Toole. Blanchard E. Toole. And this man, from what I can see, I'm going to read it all off. And they call him a hero, and he was a judge that stood up to Colonel Tom Parker, basically, and wanted a fair deal for Elvis after he'd passed. A fair deal for Elvis Presley Enterprises. So we're going to go into that as well. So there's a bit of reading involved. Quite interesting reading, I would say. I thought I'd show you a little cute video of Tino won a little medal at his football. So I thought I'd just show you it because you guys have got to know Tino now, my 4-year-old. And I wanted to show you my son's prom as well. So I hope you don't mind this, guys. Say thank you. See, there was that. And then the other one is the video of my son on his prom on his 16th. He's 16 and he's just left school yesterday. And I used my 1967 split screen camper. And I just thought you guys would like to see the video. His name's Rio. The reason they have foreign names is because my wife is quarter Italian. Yeah. She's 3/4 English, quarter Italian. I am fully Greek Cypriot, even though I was born in the UK. And just so you know, I'm nearly 57 in a few weeks. Here we go. Let's just let it load up a minute. Might have to press it. Come on, let me press it. Let's get it working first. Right, is it going to let me do it? Yes, right. Let's see if we can get some volume on it. No. Let me try and get the volume working on it. Right, here we go. Let's let it play again, yeah? Did you see me driving it? I want to play it again because you didn't see the beginning bit, which I think is the best bit when it pulls up. Let's see if it's going to play. Come on, do the magic. You can't hear nothing, but it was a special day, guys. And my son has the black suit on. Here he is. That's my son there, Rio. And then we drive off. Proud dad. Proud dad. I thought you'd find that interesting. It took me a lot of work to get that camper ready for that event. Come on, the dogs want to come in. So the dogs are back. The Jack Russells. I've got 2 Jack Russells. Ella, come here. Come up here, up. She's gonna lie down. She wants me to stroke her belly. Can you see her? They've been away with the gran, so they've been away for a week. Come on, come up. She's not gonna come up. Right, so they're back. So you're gonna hear some barking. Okay, I've just got my tea then, guys. If you're new to this channel, my name's Louis. I'm from Southwest UK, and we have a large family here now where we are here to search for the truth and defend Elvis's memory and legacy and image against anyone that is lying about Elvis, basically, or twisting reality. Not just Priscilla, not because there are many people that have said things, I think, that are very unfair to Elvis, and he doesn't deserve it. He deserves better. So we're here to stick up for him. But I also have thousands of videos and shorts that are on my channel that if you feel like taking a look, you're welcome to take a look at them. They're really good. I've been making them for a few years. And the live streams are more of a new thing that I've been doing. And they've now sort of taken the lead of my channel at the moment. And I find that the live streams it's the comments in the live streams that are leading the type of videos that we're making. So I'm following the comments. So if we get a load of comments about a specific subject, I tend to make the live stream about that. Like the live stream we're going to do now is about the something to do with the deal that Colonel Tom Parker had with Elvis and how unfair it was. And also we're going to chat about Graceland and who was responsible for stopping it from being sold and launching it. So because the main comments I've been receiving in the last 2 hours have been about those 2 subjects. My wife's still at work. She finishes in an hour, so I've got a little while. Tino's gone off with his gran, and so I probably have an hour of quiet, except for the dogs. We'll soon see, yeah? Right, so I'm just going to sort of read a few comments, and then I'm going to click on a few links and read a few links, and I may play you a couple of short clips as well. So let's just have a look. Let me just take. So we've got a comment here from Marta. Sometimes these comments are a little bit risque, but I'm going to read it because it ends a bit friendlier. But the first half of the comment is edgy, so it's not coming from me, it's coming from Marta, but it concerns Vernon Presley. It's coming from the video that I posted asking who people think it was that saved Graceland and wanted to launch it as a museum. So Marta says, in her opinion, Vernon Presley was the one who saved Graceland. The city of Memphis and Elvis fans, the real fans. Priscilla Presley, if she is not able to save her son from drugs, continues taking drugs right under her nose. I'm just taking out the bad bits, the swear words. He did not save Lisa Marie either. He never destroyed her life at all. He stole her and left her alone as a child with Mike Edwards. So I know people have got strong feelings about Mike Edwards being left with Lisa Marie. I know that, guys. It's not good. It's not good. I think it's even admitted in his book. But you Elvis fans will know about Mike Edwards was with Priscilla for 5 or 6 years, and he was a model actor. And there are issues with the friendship that he tried to have with Lisa Marie. So obviously this is a comment coming from it's obviously the opinion of Marta. So then we go to the business. The two businesses set up in the 1970s was a boutique. So we know about Biss and Bo, that one of the things Priscilla did after the divorce, she set up a clothing boutique with her friend and partner, and something else that he set up with the money that Elvis supposedly paid for that. And he got, which went bankrupt. And then she says, did you know the people who went to buy her clothes at the boutique were paid by Elvis? So she's saying, Marta is saying that Elvis was sending people there to buy her clothes so that she would believe that she liked his models. So that she would believe that she liked his models, so that she would earn some money. That doesn't surprise me. Elvis sending a lot of his female friends to her shop because it was quite a high class shop. Everything was very expensive. Obviously, they would have been using Elvis's money, I'm guessing. An interesting point, though, because I've never heard that before, that Elvis sent girls to Priscilla's shop to buy clothing. Right, so next comment. So this one is about Gracelands. So it's a comment from Guyana. Hi, Guyana, if you're watching later. There was always a group of people at Gracelands, and the gate, and sometimes the security would let some come in with when Elvis was away. Vernon was considerate to the fans as well, and so it is possible that the idea of the museum was his. Okay, so I see what she's saying. So Gianna's saying is that he would invite them in. We know that even Gladys did in the early days. He in the other homes. So he would invite them into Gracelands, and let's have a look. Yeah, so he would invite them in when Elvis was away. Vernon was considerate to the fans, so it's possible that the idea of the museum was his. Lisa Marie said in interviews that when she was visiting Graceland as a kid, she was offered pocket money to try and take pictures. She would keep the money but not take the pictures. I've heard that story before. It was all in good spirits. It all changed after Elvis's demise. Hi, Lynette. Yeah, they sure are. Thank you, Lynette. Welcome. I'm not really sure how this live stream is going to pan out. I've got a few different things we're going to go through, Lynette, to do with Graceland, to do with Colonel Tom Parker, and a very famous judge that helped. So we're going to sort of cover these points. I'm not in a rush because no one's here really. I've got my cup of teas, so I'm just going to chill and relax and go through this steadily with you guys. Graceland is a landmark to the point of having some of it in the Epcot Center. Graceland is a landmark to the point of having some of it in the Epcot Center. Lisa Marie became the sole heiress of Minnie May when Minnie May died, but she was a teenager and her mother was her trustee. It was fortunate that she came to know the right people. Larry Hagman wrote in his book that she left the Dallas cast to dedicate herself to Graceland. That's the first time I've heard that. Right, there's another comment. After Vernon passed, his then finance and live-in nurse, Sandy Miller. I don't know nothing about Sandy Miller, said that they had gotten married and she and Vernon wanted to buy Graceland. Sandy and her had children of her own, and that would have meant that they too would have partially inherited Graceland, just as Lisa has. That doesn't bear thinking about, as Elvis always wanted Graceland to go to Lisa and Priscilla. And see, that's the first time I've heard that. That's an interesting comment. Right, next, let's have a look. So here we go. This comment is from, it doesn't have a name. It's NEBY9. Vernon didn't actually own Graceland. Priscilla's lien, so the charge that Priscilla had on the Graceland, so the deed of trust. And if you're not aware of this, on the second divorce settlement, when Priscilla was demanding more money with her attorney, I've made my views very clear that I'm very unhappy that this happened, that Priscilla went for a second divorce settlement. I feel that she was, in my opinion, very greedy and really pushed Elvis to his limit because he had serious financial difficulties and he was very unwell. And this was still going on in 1977. So I'm very unhappy that it happened. I'm quite passionate. This should never have happened. I don't feel that Priscilla should have gone back for a second settlement. I think it was extremely greedy and cruel. Just my opinion. And there's a possibility, this is just an opinion, that Elvis being pushed so hard financially led to part of the decision why he sold the rights of his RCA Victor records pre-73 to try and get some money together. I also think that once Priscilla had the lien, the charge, the deed of trust, that she was in a very powerful position and actually was able to be involved in some very important decisions over Graceland. So this is my view. Anyway, let's keep reading this. She knew, right, so it meant that, right. So the lien that was put on Graceland in 1977 meant that she was the keeper in trust for her daughter, Lisa. She knew that that what Elvis always wanted is that lien hadn't have been placed on Graceland. Yeah, so sorry, it's not very well written, but that I personally think that Elvis would have been really upset that this lien, this charge, this deed of trust was put on Graceland in her name. I think it would have infuriated him. I would guarantee that Vernon Presley, that would have drove him wild because he was very heavily involved in the running of all of the finances behind the scenes, wasn't he? So Graceland would have been lost to Elvis debtors if he defaulted on the repayment. So yes, he had this deed of trust. The whole point of it is that Priscilla was owed money. The lawyers were trying to guarantee that she got her money. So they did it in installments and the lien was placed until she got all her money. So, and I read somewhere that the lien, morning Patricia, yeah, I am a proud dad, Lynette. So I read somewhere that the lien expired in 1983 in line with something to do with Lisa Marie. I'm just trying to think. It could have, was it 83 or 93? I'm not sure, but could it have been something to do with her turning 25, or could it have been something to do with the opening of Graceland in 83? And we'll see. Until she was fully repaid what she was owed from the divorce settlement, we know that Vernon in 1978 didn't want to repay her any of the money. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know that, but in this comment, they're saying that. The upkeep of Graceland was a huge plus Vernon, as executor to Elvis's estate, had to find money to pay off debts. I'm certain he came up with many thoughts on how to bring in the revenue. So this is probably leading to the decision to consider turning it into a living museum. Sadly, in 1978, Vernon's health deteriorated, and I guess he became too unwell, appointed Priscilla as his co-executor, along with the finance to oversee his duties, a trust fund for Lisa being the first and foremost. Many people were involved in the ideas of Graceland becoming a museum, but I do believe selling it was never an option for Priscilla. Now, don't forget, we've seen the interviews with Priscilla. I might try and find the clips for you. And she does say that she was in a boardroom. There was like 20 different executive type people and banks, etc., that were trying to make this decision what to do now that Vernon had passed. And there was many options. And Priscilla did say that one of the options, this is coming from that interview, was that they were twisting her arm to force a sale and invest the money of the sale. That's what was said in the interview. Despite that she herself was not even being able to take on the upkeep alone, she, of course, once established a business, was well rewarded. So I think this comment is saying that once the decision was made and Graceland became a living museum and it was very successful, we know it was super successful, but she did get handsomely paid. That's what it's saying in this comment. Priscilla has never ever said that she was the sole genius behind making Graceland what it became, and it still continues to be this day. And I accept that. I do accept that, because I've seen different interviews where she mentions the people that helped her to launch Graceland as a living museum, including Jack Sodden, the CEO. Also, the trust fund that was amassed when Lisa became of age, appointing attorneys to oversee things, were also done in Lisa's best interest. And I do believe that. That many decisions were what Lisa would have wanted. Now, financial things, like when there was large amounts of money changing hands, and there was Elvis Presley Enterprises was changing hands, basically being sold. In my opinion, I know that, Patricia. In my opinion, and if this is not fact, I have to say this. In my opinion, I think, based on the information I've learned about the takeovers and the sales of Elvis Presley Enterprises with people like Barry Siegel, even Joel Weishanker, and then going back further, was it CXK Investments, a guy called Bill something, was it Pullman? I think that when these companies were changing hands and 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises was sold, I think at least twice, I personally think, and I don't know this, that Priscilla Presley got some large amounts of money. And one thing I read was that she got $13 million for one of the sales. Now, I can't prove that. It probably is in documents when the Elvis Presley Enterprises changed hands. But because I can't prove it until I get those documents, it is just hearsay. It's just an opinion. Right. Okay. So what I want to do is talk about this gentleman here. So he is a judge. They call him a hero, and his name is Blanchard E. Chul, and he was brought to my attention by one of you subscribers. Let's just see if I've got that subscriber's name. I do like to tell people if I'm going to use their comment. Here we are. From Patricia. Patricia, you're here. Hi, Patricia. So Patricia told me, thank you, Patricia, because it's very helpful, that Blanchard Chul the way she worded it was that he saved Graceland. But I've already read it once, and what I could see is that he intervened with Colonel Tom Parker, and he said, no, the deal that Colonel Tom Parker had with Elvis was very unfair, and that now that Elvis is dead, that it doesn't count anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to read it off. I'm going to read off this thing that the judge got involved with. So let's just click on it. I've got a few different things to read, but I found it very interesting. Thanks, Patricia. So let's have a look. There was more than one. There was one that I thought was better than the other. Let's have a look. Let me just I want to get the right one out. Right, okay. So it's actually dated August the 4th, 1981. Memphis, Tennessee. An attorney for the late Elvis Presley's daughter says he has evidence that Presley's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and RCA Records have defrauded the singer estate by nearly $3 million. Oh, that's okay. This is what we want on this channel. That the video I did earlier was specifically asking for you to help me to get the information, because we want to really get to the bottom of why Graceland was under threat of being sold. Also, who decided to not sell it and who decided to launch it as a living museum. That was the question I asked you guys. I said that I couldn't find anything. And Patricia's comment and these other comments that I've just been reading have been very helpful. And Patricia's comment thought was very interesting, because I'd never heard of this judge that helped. I found a couple of things about Blanchard or Blancard E. Toole, and they both more or less say the same thing, but we're going to read through it. So, named to oversee the interest of the Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley was a probate court judge. Lisa Marie Presley told a probate court judge on Monday there is evidence that both Parker and RCA are guilty of collusion, conspiracy, and fraud, and misrepresentation, and bad faith, and overreaching. Another investigation into the finances of the Presley estate, conducted by Frank Glankler, an attorney for the estate, was not ready Monday, and Judge Henry Evans postponed a hearing on the matter on August the 14th. Parker still receives 50% of the profits from the estate of Presley, who died on the 16th of August 1977. In addition to income from the deals with RCA and firms, Toole report said Toole charged Parker took advantage of a naive Presley to negotiate side deals of his cigar-puffing manager. Neither Presley or his estate received shares of the money from them, the report claims. Toole claims that RCA realized that the key to Elvis and Colonel Parker and the control of Elvis meant millions of dollars. So RCA realized that Colonel Tom Parker was the key. He was like, if you can get past Colonel Tom Parker, you're going to get the deal for RCA. The executives at RCA had to the executives at RCA had to have realized that the side deals to Parker were in effect a payoff to Parker. And we see evidence of this in the Vegas deal, the Baz Luhrmann film, don't we? For keeping Elvis under control in future years with no audit. Okay, that isn't actually the one that I found. That's a different one. I want to find the other one that was more interesting, that is on the same lines. I think it's here. Right, here we go. A complaint filed by Presley's estate against Colonel Tom Parker. In the light of Baz Luhrmann's movie, Elvis, and the legal issues raised regarding Colonel Tom Parker's relationship with Elvis and even the lawsuit following Elvis's death. We are publishing some documents related to the lawsuit, beginning with extracts of the complaints filed by Presley against Colonel Tom Parker. To provide some of the history and investigation into the relationship between the estate and Parker was ordered by probate Judge Joseph Evans shortly after the death of Elvis' father, Vernon Presley, in 1979, following the investigations which was conducted by Lisa Marie's guardian, and this is Blanchard Chewell. The probate court of Shelby County, Tennessee, ordered the cessation of all payments to Parker. The judge also directed the estate to bring a suit against Parker regarding the improper management and practices related to Elvis and his estate. The suit also to name RCA as an accomplice. See, that's the first time I've ever heard that RCA got in trouble because of the Colonel Parker deal, and they were accused of being accomplices with Colonel Tom Parker on basically getting a crap deal, like giving Elvis a crap deal. Yeah? Very interesting, Patricia. Your Facebook friend has been helpful. In February 1955, Elvis met Parker for the first time when Parker assisted Elvis' then manager, Bob Neal, in arranging a concert for Elvis in Carlsbad, New Mexico. At all times referred to herein, Elvis was without knowledge or understanding of the business and finance aspects and custom and usages of music and entertainment industries, whereas Parker himself held himself to possess, and upon information and belief, in fact, possessed expertise in such matters. On August the 15th, 1955, Elvis and Parker signed their first agreement, pursuant to which Parker agreed to act as special advisor, and Elvis and Neal in consideration of an annual salary of $2,500. All right, so this looks like they're going way back. I didn't know that. So this could be quite long, guys. So I hope you got 10 minutes. On November the 21st, 1955, Parker in Shelby County, Tennessee, caused Elvis, who was still a minor, to enter into a management pursuant to which Parker agreed to act as Elvis's sole exclusive advisor and personal representative, and to use his best efforts to advance benefit Presley's career in the entertainment industry, in consideration of which Parker was entitled to receive 25% of Elvis's gross income. And at the time, because Elvis was also signed to a management agreement with Neal, pursuant to which Neal was entitled to receive 15% of Elvis's gross income, Parker and Neal, on November the 21st, 1955, entered into a co-management agreement, pursuant to which they agreed to both serve as Elvis's personal representative and mutually share the collective 40% management commission. Right, so I can see what this is going to do now. This is going to take us through all the agreements that they had with Elvis. I'm just going to scan through it a minute. Right from the beginning. I don't think we should go through all that, because this is a extremely long. I'm more interested in the deal with Blanchard. So let's, where Blanchard Tool steps in. I think let's just go with it for a bit longer. I might it is quite, let's have a look. I'll just jump forward a little bit. Priscilla, how have no right to do to Elvis, and Elvis was very sick. How money did she want? She did not care, but Elvis was very sick. Elvis worked hard all his life. And Teresa, hi Teresa, I know how you feel, and I am upset that in 1977 this was all going on, all this stuff with the deed of trust and the lien, the charge being placed on Graceland when they were trying to agree this divorce settlement. And this all happened when he was very ill and when the tell-all book came out from the Memphis Mafia. And I do think, in my opinion, and many of you have the same opinion, morning Diana, I do think that the way Elvis was treated in 1977 was very cruel. I do. I think the demands that were being placed on him by the Memphis Mafia and Priscilla and other things were too much for him. It was too much. I feel sorry for he had to go through that in his last year of life. That's just my opinion. Right, so at the moment, if anyone's new and watching now, we're going through the deals that Elvis was getting, going right back to 1955, and we're moving forward on it. So let's go. On November the 21st, 1955, Parker in Shelby County, Tennessee, caused Elvis, who was still a minor, to enter into a deal. Right, we've read that bit. On March the 26th, 1956, 2 after Elvis had reached his majority, Parker caused... Right, you've already just said that. Right, okay. On January the 2nd, I've always felt that Priscilla had some sort of hold over Elvis. Well, that, yeah, I have to agree with that, Diana. Have to, because he gave in to so much. Obviously, once Lisa Marie was born, it escalated the amount of control she had. But yeah, look, he helped bring her to America when she was just about to turn 18. I know she visited him a few times, but the bottom line is he married her for what I know. He was under a lot of pressure, and we all have strong opinions. So to marry someone and then get them pregnant, and have a baby with them, you like them, you love them, yeah. I do, Elvis wasn't a perfect man, so Elvis and Priscilla were up to no good. Both of them were doing things they shouldn't really do, especially if there's a marriage. So yeah, I think I just think that if I could turn back the clock, they just shouldn't have got married. That's what I say. They just shouldn't have got married. Elvis wasn't ready, and Priscilla wasn't the type of person that I personally don't think Priscilla, as an 18-year-old girl, was ready to settle down. Don't think that. How many 18-year-old girls are ready to settle down? On January the 2nd, in 1967, Parker caused Elvis to enter into an amendment to their existing management arrangement in which executive in Memphis, Tennessee, pursuant to which Parker's management commission for no apparent consideration was increased from 25% to 50%, which we all know is a complete con, in our opinions. With respect to the substantial portion of Elvis's future gross income, Parker served as Elvis's sole and exclusive personal manager. So at some point, Parker kicked out the other guy and completely took over on that deal. I'm not sure how that happened. I have heard about this before. I think the way Parker went around it was probably not legal, but it's just an opinion. Commenced in 1956 and terminating upon Elvis's death on August 16, 1977. As a result of this, right, this is where we're going to get to the bit I'm looking for. As a result of this continuing contractual relationship, Parker at all times and relevant occupied a position of trust and confidence as his sole advisor and manager, and was under a strict fiduciary duty to act solely in Elvis's best and personal and professional interest. And as Elvis's fiduciary, Parker was at all times under the mandate of law requirements to avoid circumstances in which his personal interest came in contact with the best personal and professional interests of Elvis, and to scrupulously avoid acting in a manner calculated to promote his personal interests to the detriment of Elvis Presley's personal, financial, and professional interests. Woo! Yeah, right. Hi, Naja. How you going? I was watching Billy Smith this morning. Really interesting. And actually, he doesn't speak too badly of Priscilla. I actually think when Billy Smith talks about Priscilla, he's actually quite fair. That's what I thought when I was watching him today. On March the 1st, 1973, Parker, as an Elvis fiduciary, caused Elvis to executive 6 interrelated agreements between RCA on one hand and Elvis and Parker on the other hand. The buyout agreements called for total purchase price of $5.4 million payable, $2.8 million payable, and $2.6 million. So I think the total, right, I think it could have been the total was $5.4 million. 2.8 of it went to Elvis, 2.6 of it went to Parker. And as a result of the buyout agreement, Elvis relinquished all of his rights to any further royalties from the continued marketing of sales of records embodying his pre-March 1973 recorded performances. That's my son, Rio. So, okay, so we see the deal where Elvis sold his recording rights pre-1973. And the amounts of money that changed hands, Elvis got 2.8, the Colonel got 2.6. Billy Smith, right, just read some comments. Billy Smith was the one who started the rumors that Elvis was alive. All right, I didn't know that. And Nadia, Elvis has a concussion from falling in the bathroom. Right, Elvis had a concussion from falling in the bathroom. Marty Lacker thought that he did it on purpose because he didn't want to get married. Billy heard Elvis and Colonel argue, and when Billy went back to Elvis' bedroom, Elvis told him, "I'll be soon working for the Colonel." And then Teresa says, Priscilla stole all the money from Elvis and Lisa. Right, let's keep going on this. So we're getting an idea for the deal now, the RCA deal that was had, where they got the rights. They were so lucky, it's the best deal they've ever had, I would say. As a result of the 6 agreements were negotiated by Parker on his own behalf and purportedly on behalf of Elvis and Elvis' personal manager and fiduciary, RCA agreed to pay the following amounts to Elvis and Parker. And then there's a different figure here, $4.65 million to Elvis and $6.2 million plus 10% of the profits of RCA tours. Okay. As a result of the 6 agreements, Parker arranged for himself to receive $1.55 million more than Elvis, plus 10% of RCA net profits. My God, I mean, so according to this, Parker actually got more money than Elvis. That's just crazy. And he got 10% of the profits of the tours as well. Mad. With respect to the 6 agreements, Parker breached his fiduciary duty to Elvis and on his duty of loyalty and reasonable care, amongst other things, causing Elvis to acknowledge or execute agreements which were not in his best interest, including but not limited to agreements with RCA, which collectively provided for Parker to receive 57% of all capital money due and payable to RCA, plus 10% of RCA's net profits from tours, and the structuring the aforesaid agreements in such a manner that the total collective effect of said agreements would be and was to provide Parker substantially more monies than they would provide Elvis. And now the first time I've read this, guys, this is just so wrong. According to this, he got 57%. Plus 10% of RCA's net profits. It's shocking, guys. It's shocking, isn't it? It's like Parker was greedier than I thought. And we all thought he was greedy, but this is like taking the biscuit, guys. Causing Elvis to acknowledge agreements which collectively permitted Parker to self-deal in a role as Elvis' personal manager, a violation of all fundamental precepts and duties owed by a fiduciary to his charge to Elvis' severe detriment and damage, causing Elvis to execute the agreement without the benefit of individual counsel or business advice, failing to raise any objection to royalty statements, failing to conduct audits of financial books and records for the purpose of verifying that the accuracy of royalty statements and waiving certain claims with respect thereto to Elvis's damage and detriment. It's all a bit of a tongue twister, but I get the idea. Accordingly, the 6 agreements are either saturated with or constitute an embodiment of Parker's mismanagement, self-dealing, and overreaching and breach of trust. Yeah, I agree. Elvis said he was working to pay off Parker's debts. He definitely was, in my opinion. Right. Throughout the course of Elvis's career and subsequent to Elvis's death, Parker, by means of self-dealing in breach of the absolute trust which Elvis and the later his estate placed him in, and in further breach of his fiduciary obligation. Now, I'm guessing that fiduciary means he has to act in Elvis's best interest. I'm guessing. I don't know that word, but that's what I'm guessing it means. Obligations and his duty of loyalty and reasonable care as imposed by the law engagement in the exploitation of Elvis in a manner designed to maximize his own private financial gains and profits to the detriment of Elvis' financial interest and career and to the detriment of his estate. This conduct, in addition to the conduct previously described herein, included, among other things, creating corporate vehicles which enabled Parker to acquire profit from properties to which Parker was not entitled and to capture income in excess of Parker's purported contractual entitlement in the area of music publishing and merchandising of Elvis's name and likeness to the severe financial detriment of Elvis and the estate. Woohoo! My reading's being tested here, guys. If I left school when I was 15 and I'm reading this, it doesn't make sense. Let's have a look. Right, so let's have a look. Charlie found Elvis crying in the dining room because he was forced to marry Priscilla. I bet. I want to see that interview, Gail. I want to find Charlie crying over... I want to find an interview showing Charlie saying that he saw Elvis crying. The more proof, the better. Right. So I sort of think we get the general gist. You know, I could go through this all day long, but the general gist is, in the opinion of this write-up, that Colonel Tom Parker completely ripped off Elvis, and a judge eventually steps in and stops Parker in his tracks and says to him, that deal doesn't exist because now Elvis is dead. And the judge that did that, let's jump forward. Let's see if we can get to I'll get his name. Let's see if we can get the judge's name. And I've got his name here somewhere. And this judge is hailed as a hero. And his name is, thanks to Patricia, who brought him to my attention, the judge is called Blanchard E. Toole. Blanchard E. Toole. He stood up to the colonel and he got him out of the picture. But this would have also massively helped Priscilla because she was the main trustee. Once Colonel Tom Parker was out of the way, she could make a lot more profit. So we're coming up to an hour, guys. I'm going to end it in 10 minutes. So I just thought we're going to go through some comments. So I've had quite a few comments coming in. Let's see if we can just... I'm just going to click on I'm going to try and find the comments by clicking on the videos, because if I do it the other way, it doesn't really let me read them properly. So let's just try it. YouTube have got a weird way of me reading the comments. Right, let's have a look. The maid also caught Elvis crying in the kitchen, not wanting to go through with the wedding. Yes, I read about that. Was that the cook or the maid? Which one was that, Patricia? Anyone know out there? Gail, do you know? Or was it the maid? Huh. So I've read some of these already. So yeah, it was the cook. Yeah, I thought that because I've read it before. Let me just see if I can click on one of these other links. Yeah, I found just a quick thing about Graceland. So it was open to the public as a public museum on June the 7th, 1982, and attracts more than 650,000 visitors a year. It was listed as a National Registry of Historic Places on November the 7th, 1991, and became the first site recognized for significance related to rock music. It was declared a National Historic Museum on March the 27th, 2006. So Elvis's father, Vernon, first inherited Graceland on the death of Elvis on August 16, 1977. Lisa Marie inherited Graceland after she turned 25, according to the document in which named Elvis's ex-wife, Priscilla Presley, a trustee. So then bringing it right up to date, following Lisa Marie's death on January the 12th, 2023, her eldest daughter, Riley Keough, became the sole trustee owner on May 2024. And then it goes on to say about what happened, with the scammer saying there was a 3.8 million debt. So, okay, well, that gives us a very, very short. Let's have a look here.
I'm going now.
All right, love you. Have a nice day. So then what I did find here was a bit of a timeline on, this is a separate subject, guys. So I found a thing that gives a timeline of Elvis in 1977. All the things that he did in 1977, which I thought was really interesting. And it was on a site called Elvis Australia, which is brilliant, by the way. So they give us a bit of a timeline saying that Bill Clinton first takes office. And then you've got, I'll give you the highlights. Jimmy Carter is sworn in as the 39th president of the United States. We all remember Jimmy Carter and that big smile. I actually remember this. I remember as a little boy watching it on TV, guys. Do you guys out there remember Jimmy Carter? He was one of the good guys, wasn't he? Don't you think? Morning, Deborah. How are you? Welcome. Do you got any of you there from America thought Jimmy Carter was a good president? Right, so just remember, we're doing a timeline of 1977. So then it goes into Elvis's tours in concert. And this really surprised me, just how hard Elvis worked in his last year of life. He did, I'll count them for you. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 concerts, all in February. It's 10 or 11. Okay, thanks. I remember him being a good guy as well. But didn't he have a tough time? Was it him that was involved with the hostages? Was it Carter? And then another president came in after him and fixed it. Is that right? Was it Reagan come along and fixed it? I'm guessing. I'm no expert. All right, I didn't know that, Gail. Jimmy Carter is related to Elvis. Right, so I'll quickly say them. Hollywood, West Palm Beach, Petersburg, Orlando, Montgomery, Savannah, Columbia, Johnson City, and then Charlotte Coliseum. There was 2 there. So that's just in February. All these concerts that Elvis did. That was between the 12th of February and the 21st of February. That's just madness. So then we go. So then Elvis releases an album in March, Welcome to My World. Right, so March the 3rd. After his February 1977 tour, Elvis returned to Memphis. Elvis had planned a vacation in Hawaii in order to show the island to Ginger Alden. Before leaving, he takes care. And I read somewhere that it was Joe Esposito that introduced Elvis to Hawaii. Is this true, guys? So, yes, Carter was related to President Carter. Yes, Elvis was related to President Carter. Right. Before leaving, he takes care of several business matters, including a loan. Right, here we go, guys. This is interesting. Just our button. Please subscribe. You guys, please subscribe or hit the notification bell so you get notification of when I'm coming on, because I know that 78% of you are not subscribed. And if you want to be members, click the join button, guys. Helps the channel out. Right, so this is an interesting bit, guys. So before leaving Hawaii, he has several business matters, including a loan for Dr. Nick for additional $55,000 at 7% interest with repayment scheduled for 25 years. Also, at his father's urging, in the early hours of the morning, March the 3rd, Elvis finally signed his will. Well, that's interesting. So March the 3rd, Elvis finally signed his will. And I do have a copy of that will. And one day I'm going to go through it with you guys. I think it's 11 pages. Which designates Vernon as executive and trustee, entrusting him to total responsibility for the health, education, and comfortable maintenance and welfare of himself, his grandma, Lisa Marie, their sole heir, and Ginger is a witness to the will. I didn't know that. Did you know that, guys? Ginger was witness to Elvis's will. Ginger Alden, obviously, his last girlfriend, who found him dead. Ginger, a local beauty queen, Miss Traffic Safety, Miss Mid-South, and runner-up to Miss Tennessee University, who had the distinction of being Elvis's last girlfriend and the last person to see him alive on the night he died. Elvis was introduced to Terry Alden, the present Miss Tennessee, by George Klein on November the 19th, 1976. Great facts here, guys. So basically, George Klein introduced Elvis to Ginger Alden in 1976 on November the 19th. Didn't know that, guys. Terry brought her 2 sisters, Rosemary and Ginger. I remember that the sisters all visited together, didn't they? Elvis met them, but he liked Ginger. I've seen that. George thought it was Terry to whom Elvis would be attracted to, but Elvis was immediately drawn to the youngest one, who is Ginger. Elvis on Saturday night date with Ginger as a flight to view the Memphis skyline. Right, so they went for a flight, which I have seen in her interview, so talk about that. And ended up with a trip to Vegas, chaperoned by his cousin Patsy, and her husband Ginger called her mother for permission. Okay, so we're going through the last year, things that Elvis did. I stumbled on it. There is a picture of Elvis there last year, I think on holiday in Hawaii. Looks like he's throwing something. Yeah, Gail. Yeah, I've seen the engagement ring. I've done videos all about the engagement and what was said, where it was. I think it was done in his bathroom, but remember, his bathroom was a very VIP bathroom, a very large room. It wasn't just a toilet. So on March the 12th, he visits USS Arizona Memorial. No, a visit to USS Arizona Memorial is cancelled. So Dr. Nick is concerned that he's scratched his cornea. So then he recuperates at home for a week before going out on tour again. Then in March, guys, he's back on tour from March the 23rd to March the 30th. And he does, it looks to me like 8 appearances. Tempe, Arizona, Amarillo, Oklahoma, Texas, Austin, Texas, Abilene, Texas, Alexandria in LA, and Alexandria in LA. Okay. So then we've got on April the 1st, Elvis is hospitalized in Memphis. Tour shows that are scheduled between March the 31st and the 3rd of April are cancelled. So he cancels at least 4 shows, doesn't he? So the public must have been getting a feel that something was wrong because he's cancelling these shows. They must have had a feel for it. I expect the press were all over this, weren't they? Yeah, I know all about I know about how he made that engagement ring. It was done late at night, wasn't it? And I've done a video on that, Gail. So then on April Elvis is admitted to Baptist Hospital. Entertainer Elvis Presley was admitted to Baptist Hospital early today after cancelling a show at the last minute. So on April the 6th, he's on call in hospital. He gets released at 4 a.m. So then in April, really, once Elvis has gone into hospital, he shouldn't have been working. Should not have been working. But if you look at this, guys, and this is so sad to read, but he did quite a heavy schedule between the 21st of April and the 31st of March. May, sorry. I'll count them. It's like 4, 8, 12, over 20 concerts between April and May, guys. Over 20 concerts. That's terrible. And he was very unwell, wasn't he? He was very unwell. That's so sad. And we know all the names, Chicago and Detroit. He's done all these places before, hasn't he? Stadiums and coliseums and all the rest of it. So May the 26th, Elvis's private jet, the Lisa Marie, has just landed at the Rochester to Binghamton, New York flight. And then you've got then Elvis still wearing his karate pajamas, which I think it was common to see him in his. Yeah, he was, Gail. But at this point, and don't forget, while this is all going on, Priscilla is still demanding more money and trying to get this lien. It's probably already happened at this point. This lien happened, I think, in April. This charge, this lien, this deed of trust because of the divorce settlement on Graceland. So no care about how ill he was. There's no way that anyone that was around in 1977 did not know how unwell Elvis was. It was all over the newspapers and magazines and tabloids. There was clips all over the TV news. Everyone knew he was not well, everyone. So for Priscilla, no offense to Priscilla, for her to act like she was surprised when he died, I don't think so. This is just my opinion, but I think it's obvious he was very ill. So when this demand for more money, give me more money, was coming from these attorneys, it was bloody cruel. It was cruel, wasn't it? It was like, then you got the Memphis Mafia. They released the book. It might actually say the date here. Let's just see if it says the date. I'm pretty sure at some point it does say the date the book was released. I might have skipped past it. Let me just see if I've got it here. It's here somewhere. No, I can't see it, but I know that around here the book gets released. Then in May he does another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 concerts, like in Jacksonville, Baltimore, Binghamton, Philadelphia. They've even got a cancelled ticket here that was cancelled because it was after the day he died. Yeah. And then we're down to June now. Way Down was released. I remember Way Down. I remember it being released. I remember being a little kid. So I would have been 11. I remember hearing this on the radio. Way down on a tidal wave. Just remember it. So June the 17th, 26th, Elvis tours in concert. So he's still touring, guys. May 77. Yeah, so it's going to be here. Let me see if I can see it. It gives the exact dates. So I just remember reading it. No, I can't see it, but the writing is tiny. So we go to June, and even in June, bearing in mind how ill he was, he does 3 concerts on the 17th, the 18th, and 19th in Omaha, Kansas, Springfield. And then we've got some earlier ones. May the 31st, Elvis on tour in concert, June the 1st. June the 2nd, the Mobile Ala Municipal Auditorium. I said that, yeah, he releases Way Down. And then shows on the 19th and the 20th and the 21st are recorded by RCA. So these are the ones that we've all seen, yeah? Videotaped by CBS TV for an up-and-coming live album, and television special footage from the show on the 20th is not used in the show. The special will be called Elvis in Concert. It will air in early October after Elvis's death in August. The camera gives a shocking picture of Elvis's poor health in his final days. Still, some of the songs and performances are great, and he has still had a moving voice. And we are still moved by this footage, aren't we? And they play a section of it at the end of the Baz Luhrmann film, and it really does. Oh, it tears you up. Even all these years later, it almost brings you to tears. Well, I actually say it does bring you to tears. So I could play it, but then I'll get copyrighted, so I'm not going to play it. But even so, here we are. Look, even in June the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, he's still doing concerts in Madison, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, CO Falls, Des Moines. And then it says Elvis's very last concert was June the 26th. And it says 60-second RCA Elvis radio commercials played. There's a picture here. It's not very clear. And guys, do we think this, I ask you this, guys, do we think that Elvis knew he was going to die? Because if you listen to Ginger Alden's interviews, she said he was very upbeat and he was looking forward to the up-and-coming tour that was about to start the next day. And that he'd started to get slightly better and lost a bit of weight. And that he didn't just mope around in his bedroom, that he was quite active. So what do you think, guys? Yeah, I agree, Deborah. In different countries, it was different things were happening. So then we move forward. We've got on June the 27th, to August the 15th, Elvis relaxes in Memphis and prepares for the next leg of tours of his touring. So June the 27th, Elvis is relaxing at Memphis. on the 30th. Elvis, no, not that. No, so Moody Blue gets released. I remember Moody Blue. It's a great song. What else have we got? Oh yes, here we are. Right, it might. It's a different date than you said to me. Who said it? Deborah, you said May 77, but on here it says, but actually this is Australia, isn't it? Because it's an Australian app, so you could be right, Deborah. Because on here it says August the 1st, but the book What Happened gets released. So then I didn't know this. This is nice. That on August the 11th, Elvis pays respect to his mother at the Forest Hill Cemetery. I'm so glad he did that. So Elvis said goodbye to his mother at the cemetery on August the 11th. I'm really pleased that happened. I didn't even know that. But some of these figures are related to Australia because it's an Australian app. I mean, app, yeah. On August the 12th, Elvis was unable to get a copy of the film Star Wars. So that's interesting. Elvis was trying to get Star Wars so that he could watch it with Lisa Marie. So instead, he gets The Spy Who Loved Me. We all remember The Spy Who Loved Me. Isn't that with the white car that went under the water? Sure it was. So Lisa Marie and Elvis watched The Spy Who Loved Me. That's cute. Because they couldn't get Star Wars. And as they came home, Lisa was sitting on Ginger Alden's lap, holding her bag of popcorn from the theatre. The photo snapped just 4 days before his death. So this is a very well-known photo taken just 4 days before he died. And you can see Elvis, obviously, and Lisa Marie sat on Ginger Alden's lap. So, God. And there's no way that he knew he was going to die in such a short time. So sad. Right. And then, isn't this the last picture ever taken of Elvis? I'm sure it is. Well, I think we're coming to the end now, guys. That was a very interesting pledge. Through the early morning of the 16th, Elvis takes care for last-minute tour details and relaxes with family and staff. He is to fly to Portland, Maine, then that night do a show, and there on the 17th, then continue the scheduled tour. Elvis retires to his master suite at Graceland on around 7 a.m. and for some rest. This evening, Presley is dead from heart failure. Yeah. It's unreal, I think. The shocking thing for me when I go through this last year is the amount, how hard he worked in that year. I'm like, no entertainer works like that now. No way. This is tough. This is a real tough, hard grind. And for a man who is so unwell, how did he do it? That would explain some of the medication because he needed some kind of way of boosting himself to do that amount of concerts in such a, all close together. And then it goes on to the funeral. This goes on. There's a lot more reading here, but that's for another video, guys, when we go through the funeral details. And the fans' reaction and the way it's broadcast on the newsreels all over the world. And I do like watching all these old news broadcasts from 1977. They're very interesting. I've posted quite a few videos showing them as well. Okay, guys. So we're coming on to 1 o'clock. I'm gonna have a little break. I'm gonna walk the dogs. I need to do some exercise. I'm gonna do a little run. Collect my thoughts, and then decide what my next thing's going to be. But I am definitely going to do another chapter of this. I don't even know what chapter I'm on. Thanks, guys. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining in. It's been very interesting, actually. I've really enjoyed it, and actually very relaxing. I found it because there's no noise with the kids. My wife's not here; she's at work, so I could just completely concentrate on the subject that we're all talking about together. So I am trying to move away from Priscilla a bit now because I think it all got a bit too intense. I'm still going to cover Priscilla, but maybe not so much. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gail. Thanks, Deborah. Thanks, Patricia. And Nadia. So Teresa and Lynette. Thanks, all of you. I know that many of you are going to watch this later because you all tend to wake up and watch it later. You're probably just starting to wake up now, aren't you? What time is it? Because I know so many of you are from America, obviously London, Australia, Canada, and many other countries, guys. Many other countries. So I'm guessing in America now it is it 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that, in the morning. So you're just waking up. So there's many of you that will come on later. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. And I'm going to do some exercise. Take care, guys. It's been great.